So this one's about Final Fantasy, a little bit of Kingdom Hearts towards the end, and talking about people's expectations when a game studio releases something that's a little bit different from what they've been doing previously. We got onto talking about this because I've been playing through Wolong Fallen Dynasty over on my Twitch, which for those who aren't aware was the follow-up game to Nioh 1 and 2 by the Koei Tecmo Team Ninja guys. Anyway, I want you to leave down below your hottest takes regarding the Final Fantasy series, as well as what your favorite game in the series is, if you have one. Enjoy! Everything Team Ninja does that isn't Nioh 3 gets talked bad about. Which is kinda weird, dude. Team Ninja have been around for a long fucking time. They've been doing this for a while now. The fact that you're mad that it's not specifically Nioh just shows that people don't realize that these guys have been doing this. Where the f did you come from? Ow, dude! Most people hate Strangers of Paradise too. That's just because of the memes. The memes kind of did more damage to that than anything.
My mission is to kill Chaos. When are we gonna fight Chaos? All I care about is seeing Chaos dead. Chaos. What about Chaos? Is it true you made a deal with Chaos? Chaos exists. Are you Chaos? This world needs Chaos!
Cringe and edgy, but the game's great. The class system is super fun. I've heard that Strangers of Paradise, Hat Guy played Strangers of Paradise, and I was talking about, you're gonna play the Chaos game? And he's like, yeah. And apparently it was really, really fun, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad to hear. I was worried that it was going to be like a dodgy, not very good kind of... But yeah, like the memes and the weird humor, like Final Fantasy is sometimes like very hit or miss with the way that dialogue is written. The fuck? Oh! Poor creature. But, I mean, the one thing that's good about Final Fantasy is whether or not the dialogue and the way that it's presented is cringe to you, at least the gameplay is typically fun. I would say, I'm gonna be really like that guy and say that I believe, technically there are more good Final Fantasy games than there are bad ones, right? People like to downplay or they like to be hyperbolic and say, dude, there's a ton of bad Final Fantasies, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I think the majority of them stand out pretty well. Even 15 that was seen as kind of like flying a bit too close to the... Okay. The paint is a... Oh, thank you. I mean, intentional. I meant to do that. The only bad ones are 13, 13.2, and 13.3. I mean... It depends on who you ask and who you are, but I think the fact that the general consensus is that 13 not good might have to hold its own weight and say that 13 no good. I mean, even 12 was kind of seen as a little bit of a, you know, a risky maneuver back in the day because, like, Kingdom Hearts was already around and they're kind of trying to follow up with the, how do we do action combat in a way that feels good? And it took a while, right? Like, I think Strangers existing and... I hear 16 is decent, right? 16, kind of got overshadowed by all of the bigger releases that came out around the same time, but for the Final Fantasy guys, 16 is good, right? I hate 16 a lot. 16 is fine. See, right there. Look at that. Look at that. Within the span of microseconds, you just got the polarization of the Final Fantasy community. I hate it a lot. It's fine. It's good, apparently. This is why you guys can never have nice things, because we can never agree on whether or not something's good or bad. I could say, hey guys, Final Fantasy 9 opinions, and people go, oh, I love 9. It was weird and quirky, but it's great. How about Final Fantasy 8? It had to follow up in 7's shoes. Oh, 8 was great. Squall is G. I love Squall. Squall could have my babies. How about 13? Ew. Ew. Lightning killed my baby. Ew. Alright, guys, how about 15? And we all hang our heads and go, if only it was what it could have been. But I like that about gaming. I've talked about this a lot. I really like it when there's nuance and opinions and whatnot. I like it when something isn't just universally panned, hated, or liked for no reason. That's a fast swipe, dude. Whoa, dude! Oh, we did a different slice. Okay, I gotta be really careful. What the fuck? Oi! Fire! Ugh! Fuck you! Oh my god, please die. 9 is gob. See, look, 9 is trash. Like, you could, like, that's why, in a way, I like that there are developers who won't compromise their vision based on whether or not a small portion of the player base won't like it. Like, I don't believe in making a game with some sort of hateful agenda in mind, right? Like, I don't like it when games decide, like the Overwatch 2 treatment, where it's like, we know this is going to be a bad decision, and we're pissing off the player base, but we're going to do it, right? I don't believe in that. But even if you don't like Final Fantasy IX, a lot of care went into that game. Even 13, right? Like, it doesn't have to be an amazing game, but they still cared, and I appreciate that care. It's just not a game for me, but, you know, it's a game for someone. Someone out there loves that game, and it wasn't made with any malicious intent, so I appreciate it. But there are games out there that are made just bad, or made like Barland Wonderland. No, I don't give a fuck. I hate that game, and everyone who likes it, I think, is just have bad taste. I think you're wrong. I think that your opinion is shit, and you deserve all of the ridicule that comes your way for liking a sloppy, bad, shitty game. Oh, I'm gonna shoot the fuck out of... Where's his head? 16's combat can be different for people. It's not a party-based game. It's pseudo-open worlds. But 15 was kind of like that. So is it closer to 15, closer to Kingdom Hearts, or is it closer to 7? Yeah, that's what I thought. The perception is that 15 is bad, but in actuality it's because it was a console exclusive, and once it finally got to PC, they rug-pulled DLC, which made people angry. I thought it was because 15 was supposed to be a different game and it went through development hell and it turned out different, and only once people found out that it was meant to be a different game were they mad that they didn't get what they were originally, like, going to do. Like a Duke Nukem Forever kind of situation where it was just being made for so long that it came out kind of rushed. It's still a decent game though, right? Like, are people honestly trying to say that these games are bad, as in like, oh, this is trash? Like, these are like Concord level games where no one wants them? Or are they saying they're bad like how Dark Souls 2 is bad, in that you're comparing it to its peers, and when you're comparing it to the legacy of Final Fantasy, it's bad. But when compared to everything else, it's a serviceable, fine, fun game, right? 16 is also more trying to be an MMO with its side quest system and a lot of other stuff. Well, that's because it was made by Yoshi P, right? Console release of 15 wasn't even the full game of it either. You were expected to play the phone game also. That's Final Fantasy, though. That's peak Final Fantasy bullshit, where they start splitting things up. At least it was that, and not as bad as the Kingdom Hearts bullshit. I'm not even gonna lie, dude. I was a massive Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 fan when I was a kid. My PS2, those were some of my favorite fucking games. I swore off that shit. I said I will not play 3 when it comes out. I don't give a fuck, because they've done so much with fucking up the lore and putting all the games on different platforms. I don't care. I just don't care anymore. You can't make me give a shit about this franchise anymore. Play the Kingdom Hearts to play the Disney worlds more than anything, not the story. I mean, you say that, but everyone got very invested in the plot line when 1 and 2 were a thing. It's just that they decided to fuck it up a lot. And made you have to play like 5 different versions of these games across different consoles, different mobile apps, different phone games. By the time you got to the end of it all, it's like there's so many different characters and convoluted concepts. That's why you've got all those videos out there where it's like, I'm trying to explain Kingdom Hearts to my friend. You know, my friend reacts to the Kingdom Hearts lore, and it's always like funny reaction shit. Why? Because it's bullshit. It's stupid bullshit. And they made it this way. Half of the worlds for 3, half of them just followed their respective movies and did not need his intervention at all. I always found that to be kind of weird, because originally having them follow through with the main plot line of their respective stories, right? Like helping characters overcome their problems, helping Ariel deal with Ursula, helping fucking pick a world, like, you know, help fucking Simba do Simba shit. Except some of them, they... Like Tarzan, right? You go to Tarzan's world, you help him fight against Clayton, but they put like a little twist on it. He's been corrupted by a chameleon heartless, and it's kind of funny, and he's in the sky and all that kind of shit. I liked the ones that subverted expectation, where they kind of took the story and they either went back after the main events of their story and they expanded on it, and it's like, oh, here's what these characters are doing after the main events of their own story. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. I know the sequel games had to do that because, you know, Sora had already gone to these worlds and helped them, and so how the fuck do you go back to Beauty and the Beast? Well, you don't. You just kind of have new shit happen to the Beast. And you'd think, well, this can't be after the events of his movie, because why is he still the Beast? He's not meant to be the Beast, and so, you know, they have to take some liberties with it. I like when they fuck around with the you know, the canon, so to speak. I could watch the movies whenever I fucking want, man. I want to see some unique shit. Goofy was always really good in those games. I like the dynamic. Unironically, I do think that the Donald Goofy dynamic was decently done in that game series. I don't know if it was any good in 3 because I've skipped out a lot of knowledge on 3, but in the original ones it was good. They somehow made it not feel weird that Donald and Goofy were there. A one-button mashing trash game that removed all nuance. Which one is this? Kingdom Hearts 3, which peaked in Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 2 genuinely had some very fun and engaging gameplay. I'm kind of mixed between 1 and 2. I know 1 was a very different feel, and 1 was kind of like a mix between are we turn-based or action combat, because it felt like it was a menu game, but in real time. And 2 was just kind of like, oh, does God of War exist? Let's make a God of War game, but let's put like really cool Disney bullshit in it, you know, let's do this and that. And it worked out. I do agree that 2 was kind of like very well done with its combat. I liked it. Especially all the forms, going into like, you know, Valor and Wisdom and all that kind of shit. The Master Forms, all that kind of stuff. It was cool. Much rather play Blue Dragon or Lost Odyssey than any Final Fantasy game after Sakaguchi left. Well, I think the problem is that they're trying to... I think that's why the remakes of some of the older games, like the original Final Fantasies and now the Dragon Quest games, are kind of getting a resurgence of popularity. And you're getting things like Octopath Traveler and stuff happening to try and keep that whole dynamic alive. Technically speaking, you should be playing the Persona or Shin Megami Tensei games for turn-based stuff now, right? Although Dragon Quest, even though it's kind of slowed down, we don't get nearly as many of them, it's still kind of doing the same thing. Such high praise for Kingdom Hearts 2 when you need to play a Game Boy and phone game to understand what the hell is going on at the beginning with Roxas. That's what I mean. But I give praise because the game itself is made well. That's why I was saying the plot fucked it all up. The plot was garbage. The plot got really fucked up. Like, the main one you had to play before 2 was Chain of Memories, which was a Game Boy game. I had Chain of Memories. They later made it into a PS2 game. So they kind of like tried to fix their own problem. Final Fantasy X is argued as the best Final Fantasy, with 7 and 6 quite often. 10 is probably the one I was the closest to actually finishing. The problem is I was very young at the time. Like, I was too young to appreciate every Final Fantasy before 10. When 10 rolled around, I was at kinda just the right age. You know what the problem was, though? Okay, so the problem was, and this is gonna sound a little bit harsh, because 10 is a really good game. 10 was ruined for me because as I was playing through 10, Dragon Quest 9 came out. No, Dragon Quest 8 came out. The Journey of the Cursed King. That Dragon Quest is like cocaine. That was one of the best RPGs I've ever played. That's like the game. And I couldn't enjoy Final Fantasy X anymore. I'm like, how do I enjoy Final Fantasy when I've got Akira Toriyama artwork, amazing RPG thing here? I can't. It's ruined. It's over, dude. Goku with a bandana? Yes! 8 is just such a good Dragon Quest. I then picked up 10-2, and I did not like 10-2, which I know for some people is like, ew, how do you not like 10-2? 10-2 was great. I just didn't like the angle of it. I just didn't. Wait, can I do this? And then this? And now yeah, he kind of falls into the fight. Yeah, dude. The Sandland game? I haven't seen much about Sandland. I was a bit skeptical of it because there was an anime release for it to go along with the game, and it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I might need to ingest a lot of media to really appreciate this. X2 is one of the best turn-based fighting systems in history. The story is cringe as hell. I think that's what I didn't like about it. As soon as Yuna was a pop star and she was in like a 3-way idol star girl group at the start, I'm like, what the fuck happened? She was like the spirit lady who shepherded the dead souls onto the next world. And like, Riku was there, but now Pain is there instead. I'm like, who the fuck is Pain? What happened to the rest of the gang? Where's anyone else? I don't like this new lady. Where's Lulu? Where's my gothic doll lady? All that kind of stuff. I just wasn't a fan. 9, 21, and 6. Let it be known, Nico was from the future. We'll fast forward a couple of years. Dude, when Final Fantasy 21 releases, we'll come back and be all like, oh, he was right. It was godlike. This man is cheating at life. Like I said at the start of the video, I want to know what you think about Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts as series overall. It doesn't just have to be hot takes about what you don't like about them. It could also be your favorite game, a fond memory, something you appreciate, whatever you want to share about these games in general. And while you're down there, like and subscribe, because just like with a Final Fantasy game or any other RPG, I like seeing numbers go up. I like the dopamine of seeing the numbers hit double digits, triple digits, quadruple digits. So be sure to hit those buttons so that I get my dopamine rush. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good one.